Hello everyone, Wolfrunner25 here, back from the Warframe video, and today I'm going to show you an arcane that is an absolute must if you are trying to do solo runs on Warframe of any certain type. If you're trying to do endurance runs, index runs, or maybe possibly Eidolon runs, because this thing is pretty much universal for all serious situations for when you find yourself in a bit of a sticky situation, and that arcane is called Magus Lockdown. And what Magus Lockdown does on rank 3, on Void Dash, drop a mine that tethers up to 8 enemies in 12 meters. After 4 seconds, it explodes, dealing 60% of their health as puncture damage. So it acts as a form of crowd control. And what that means is you can tether any enemies down despite what type of enemy they are, except for nullifiers. Nullifiers are going to be your only non-saving grace in this particular case. For this particular arcane, it will stop you from void dashing, but if you dash around them, it'll actually still tether them. So I'm going to show you just where you can get this and how much of a grind it'll be to get it. It's honestly not that bad if you're able to do Prophet Taker and Exploiter Orb, because then you can get the Toroids to just turn in for more raking. But let's go give the Quills, aka Little Duck, a visit at Fortuna. So this is Little Duck, and the way you rank up with her is you trade in Toroids for standing. You can farm those on Fortuna in certain areas. I may make a guide on that later on, but all you have to do is get these particular Toroids. These Lazulite Toroids come from destroying the Explorer Orb. The Charisma come from destroying the Prophet Taker Orb, and these you can go from 3 key points on the Orb Valis. And when you get at least 100,000 standing, you can then buy your own personal Magus Lockdown. And at rank 3, that's what it's going to be like the absolute most efficient, because it has the most distance covered for it, the most enemies covered for it, and the most damage covered for it. So I'm going to give you a short example of how it actually works and of why you absolutely need it, especially if you are somebody who's into the later game of Warframe. Of course, I use that term lightly since there's no real endgame for Warframe, but I digress. So now we're going to go to the Simulacrum using my Vazarin class. And the reason I use the Vazarin class is because it doesn't displace enemies. That might be a little bit harder to show you. Let's head there right now. And by the way, if you ever want to fast travel to the Simulacrum, this is how you can easily do it. Just go to your syndicates, or Cephalon Samaris, and visit Cephalon Samaris. So to show you an example of how powerful Magus Lockdown is, I'm going to use 4 Corrupted Heavy Gunners, the most heavily armored enemy in the game, while using the Vazarin class, which will not displace enemies, and will make it a little bit easier to show you. It is okay if your Tenno class displaces enemies when you void dash through them, but I just prefer to use Vazarin for this particular demonstration, because you can actually kill extremely high level enemies with this arcane. Like, I have gone probably hour and a half, 2 hours runs solo, and using this arcane, because it deals a percentage no matter what the level is, that damage will continue to scale no matter what. So if you spam the hell out of it, it's going to keep dealing damage to them. So here are 4 Corrupted Heavy Gunners, and I'll show you just how it works. So you just go into your operator forum, got 4 of these guys spamming, and all 4 of them are now stuck. And only for a short amount, but it deals a certain amount of damage to them. And if you've worked on your Vazarin class, then you'll regain energy for each time that you dash through a certain amount of enemies. And you can see, through those amount of times that I dash through them, but you can always use an energy pad too if you're stuck, if you don't have enough energy to keep void dashing. And you can just spam an infinite amount of tethers, and it will keep them locked in place. So it's like your own form of crowd control, and I've almost killed it using nothing but my operator and the Magus Lockdown. I've already killed that one. Because like I said, it deals a percent amount of damage. And all 4 of them are dead. And it's just like, it's such an overpowered arcane, because it's great for the index if you're trying to do that solo maybe, and like you're guarding the goal. It's great for idle runs, and you need to hold the Vombalus down so that you can get them so you can charge the lures. It's great if you're doing endurance runs, the enemies are like level 300s or something like that. It's your literal own form of crowd control. If you don't like crowd control frames, if you prefer the tanky frames, DPS frames, then definitely get Magus locked down. Now, say if you aren't running Vazarin in this case, since it doesn't displace the enemies, say if you're running Zeneric or Matarai, which will displace them, I'm going to use Matarai first for a demonstration. It's probably just going to throw them off the map, but if you're in a wide open area, it's going to toss them across the map. If you're in a closed corridor doing endurance runs, it's going to toss them probably against the wall, and you can still spam it. As long as you go through them. It's something about Void Dash with Zeneric. Let me see if I can find it. Maybe it's on a class that, or like it's on a certain skill node that I haven't come across yet. But no matter what class I run, I always regain my energy if I Void Dash through them. So that's how you're going to be able to spam it and just keep going and going and going with it. So I'm going to use Matarai this time. Of course, they're probably going to get displaced. So I think... Wait, no, okay. Hold on. Is this a bug? Okay. Alright, hang on guys. I think this is a bug.
Fashion bug!
Alright, I'm Matarai this time. Let's try this again. They still went to sleep. Oh, okay, that's in place.
Yeah, boy.
It just does so much for the damage since that scales. You can see at the bottom of it that you consistently regain that energy when you Void Dash through a certain amount of enemies. And they're all dead. Level 160 enemies dead because of the puncture damage that it deals. Let's see if I can actually switch to Zeneric this time. Because that's going to be your only troubles if it's displacing you. Or displacing the enemies, I'm sorry. Nope, I'm still... Okay, that's a bug.
What a load of bollocks!
Alright, I'm not going to keep going on and on. You guys get the idea. If you have any comments or questions, leave them in the comments section below. I stream every single Sunday and Wednesday. I'm on the Xbox One platform. There's not a lot of Xbox One Warframe streamers out there. So, again, I hope that you guys found this video useful. And if you're somebody who hasn't gotten to max rank with Fortuna yet, then that's what you're going to have to do first before you get to the Quills and take on the Prophet Taker. You have to become an old mate first and then get to that. But, that's about all I got to offer, guys. Thank you all so much for watching, and again, I hope you found this video useful. I'll leave a few links in the description below for my channel and Discord and Twitter. And remember, everybody, strive proudly and howl loudly. Good night, everybody.